24-24 deadlock at Soldier Field. Bears and Dolphins. Watch the game sports. It's your man L.A. Cheatham.
What's up, good people? It's Benjamin Banneker. Yo, it is football season. Kind of.
Yeah. Much to critically acclaimed performance by the Chicago Bears. They're under a lot of scrutiny for not playing the starters. 24-24 deadlock at Soldier Field. Before we get any further, please like the videos, share and subscribe to the channel. Help us grow. The starters did not play at Soldier Field. 24-24 deadlock. Tyson Bagent gets the start. The Bears are under a lot of scrutiny for not playing the starters all summer long. We're pretty much all spring ever since they hired Ben Johnson. The Chicago media and fan base has been really excited about seeing this connection between Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams and some of the new pieces on the offensive line. And Ben Johnson is finding out what it's like to be a little bit under fire in the big market of Chicago. This ain't Detroit.
Now to our subscribers, listeners, audience members. He said a little fire. Obviously, he didn't mean that literally. We just talking about, some criticism finally came his way. He hasn't been lauded and applauded for coming in to be the next, well, hopefully the savior coach of the Chicago Bears. This is the first time he's faced some pushback, shall we say. It's a lot of theories floating around why the starters didn't play. One of them I heard that, I didn't particularly agree with, but one of them was that Ben don't think the offense looked right and he don't want to put it out there until it looked right. Another one is that, Caleb ain't where he needs to be in the offense, so they want to give him more time to, try and soak up the playbook and know where he needs to be in his adjustments and in his reads and everything like that before they throw him out on the field. So it's a lot of theories going around. Like they just don't want to, pull back the curtain finally and unveil what they really got. Probably insinuating that there's so much hype around what they got that they want to make a good first impression. I personally don't think that's the case. I don't. I think it's more so about just, the attrition of the season and keeping your starters healthy. Do I think they probably need to be out there at least for a little bit? Yes, just to catch some live bullets. But I'm totally okay with them not playing because I said last week I want every team to get to week one as healthy as you can be, and then we can start the war of attrition from there.
Yeah, so what do you think of Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, even Tua? I don't want to mess this man's name up, but Tua playing in Soldier Field as the starting quarterback for the Dolphins. Now, it's important that we point out that they did have now the Bears and the Dolphins played on Sunday afternoon, and they did have a joint practice on Friday. Took Saturday off, and Ben Johnson even said that, depending on how things look in that joint practice, that would determine, their approach to the exhibition game on Sunday.
Right.
And at least on Friday, most people knew that they would not play the starters on Sunday, and that's when the people started to wonder, and the criticism started to creep in. And now you got your side. I'm gonna tell you what I think. Part of it is I want to be fair and say, okay, they got the first string guys got a lot of work in on Friday at the joint practice, scrimmage, and apparently he was satisfied with that. They didn't play the starters on Sunday. Part of it is Ever since Ben Johnson had his first press conference in Chicago, he's came across very confident and very sure of himself and his operation and what he's doing, even what he's saying at times. The media in Chicago has been very intrigued with him. Big difference from Matt Eberflus. As far as those yawning sessions that Matt Eberflus and
Was they like that
he,
when Flus first got hired though? When he's talking about
yes,
hits
when
on all that?
Flus's very first press conference was a dud.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, okay. Ben Johnson has been a superstar ever since he took the job. From the time he took that ink pen and stroked that contract and spoke his first words to the media in Chicago, the honeymoon has been going well. I would like to think that he's been coming up on now. It almost seems like a little bit of arrogance
I can see, yeah.
and I don't want to show my hand, but at the same time, I do want to respect the fact that if he's going to take the scrimmage, the joint practice evaluation, and say, okay, we got enough work done there, so we're not going to play the starters. But this thing took on a whole new. Once I actually start watching this game, every time they panned over to the sideline, you would see Caleb Williams with these shades on.
And the fingernails, baby.
Well, I didn't see his
I think
fingernails,
it was light blue.
but I'm like, okay. Many people say a team that you're coming off 5 wins. It's too much work to do. It's too much improvement to be done. They had no business start sitting them starters. And then you got the group of people that say that Caleb Williams is having trouble processing. And he's not picking up the playbook well. So from there, when I got to actually watching the game, if you notice, they went 3 and out. Ben Johnson likes to run the football.
Yep.
But the first 3 plays of the game, they were all pass plays. And I don't know if they were under center, all 3 snaps, but they were 3 and out, but they didn't run the ball. And Ben Johnson had already made some statements about Tyson Bagent being locked in and ready to work.
Yep.
And it seemed to me that since Tyson Bagent was the starter, he put him out there. Go do the work. He put him in position to throw the ball 3 straight times. I think he even got sacked once.
Yeah, he did.
But
the second down, he got sacked.
What I believe is that Ben Johnson is going to challenge any one of the quarterbacks that he puts out there to throw the football. What do you see? How can you run my offense? He wants to know this early and often because he's going to run the football. But he want to put those guys in a position to throw football first. Like, okay, it's like he's giving them a lot and then he can dial it back later. And I think he's taking that approach in these games. So although the running game did get we saw a lot. It was hard watching this game because it was a lot of substitutions. Yeah. It was hard to keep up with some of the new players. But what I wanted to look at was the quarterback position and how he went about play calling, and he challenged Tyson Bagent to throw the ball down the field. He challenged Case Keenum to throw the ball down the field, and even down the stretch, what's his name? Austin Reed. Austin Reed was in a position to actually win the game, so he had to throw the ball down the field. So, in my opinion, I don't see anything changing when Caleb comes in because he can't sit him all 3 games. So I'm assuming that when they play the Bills,
he gonna play
on Sunday evening. He's going to play, and he's going to be asked to throw the football. So he's giving him, I want to believe he's giving him another week to work out some kinks, and let's get this thing going. Now, keep in mind, remember I told you, Caleb Williams has 4 to 8 weeks. And we'll know how Ben Johnson feels about Caleb Williams at least in 10 weeks, by week 10. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's how I feel about it.
Do you think is there any, I don't know, blues, clues, tea leaves that you picking up on that Ben Johnson may not be satisfied with Caleb? Or do you think that's all just we just really going through the process? Everything right now is just being overblown. We can't read too much into nothing.
I believe it's too early to say he's not satisfied with him, but he's most definitely going to challenge him. And for all of those people that say he came to Chicago because of Caleb, I don't think that's the case. I think he came to Chicago to be a head football coach, and he knows that Caleb Williams has talent. He believes in his ability to coach Caleb, but how long and how much time will he give Caleb is the question. So all those people, I hate when people say that. It's almost like Caleb Williams has arrived already, and it's not. No, you don't go to one. You don't, especially not in the NFL. You go to Kansas City to coach a proven Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? You can go to Baltimore to coach a proven Lamar Jackson. If you get my drift, Caleb Williams hasn't proved anything in this league, but I believe Ben Johnson went to Chicago for one. It's Chicago, one of the most probably the most traditional franchise or charter franchise in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that if he can come to Chicago and get things turned around, he's gonna be the man. And if he does it with Caleb, fine. But when it's all said and done, he still got to coach for himself and get this thing going at his, the way he want to get it done. And it may be Caleb, it may not be Caleb. So I don't buy into all of that. He's coming here for Caleb. Now the clock, Caleb's young, Caleb's talented. But all of the stuff they said about Caleb is coming out all the way to the pre-draft stuff. Now it's the stuff that was actually on the field.
Well, we said that he was playing a lot of backyard football.
Yeah. So we'll see, man. It's going to be interesting to see. And that's another thing. How much will now most of the starting quarterbacks, the big time guys like Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. I don't know how many possessions Joe Burrow had, but I think Patrick Mahomes only had one series. But Joe Burrow may have had 2. So they set the standards, in my opinion. They set the standard in my opinion, for all starting quarterbacks. If you're not injured, you should be playing in this game. Fine-tuning your game. So he sat down Ben Johnson sat down the offensive line as well. The biggest competition battle with the offensive line is left tackle. Right. Probably the most important position on the offensive line. Braxton Jones and rookie Ozzie Trapillo. They played. And I'm going to say that maybe he said, you know what? I'm not going to put talking about Ben Johnson, I'm not going to put my star, my young quarterback out on the field until I can establish who my left tackle is.
I can see that too. Yeah.
I can see that too. So you can flip this thing around and scramble it however you want to do it. But bottom line is, when you go up against Buffalo, I don't think he's going to have that joint practice as an excuse not to get their first team reps. You know what I mean? So he even got DJ Moore playing some running back. I don't know
Yeah,
if you knew that. I
yeah,
don't
like
think I
he
don't
was
like
making
that.
like you say you don't like it or you do.
Nah, I don't like that.
It kind of like he was
DJ
being like,
DJ DJ can get up the field and DJ can get open. He don't have a problem getting open. I don't like. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're gonna give, he had a touchdown. I think it was. I don't know if it was last season, the season before last. He did have a touchdown run out of the backfield.
yeah,
So, in my opinion, if I'm gonna run DJ Moore out of the backfield, I'm talking about for the whole entire season. He get 5 carries, 5, because he's a wide receiver, and we got enough running backs. You know what I mean? We got enough money being spent in that backfield for Swift and Roshan, and Mononga looked really good. Ran hard, and
he looks kind of sluggish at first to me, like he couldn't get going. Now that could have been
well,
first NFL game.
yeah,
It
yeah.
could have been,
I think he had his. You know, I even seen some Genty. I even seen some of Genty's runs, and they kind of look the same. Like, they didn't hit the hole initially,
yeah.
like right away. And I think they made. I know with Mononga, he made the adjustment really quick and just hit the hole and run. He ran hard. He
Because he
looked pretty
finished with
good.
5 yard average for carry. I mean, yeah, 6 for 30 yards, I think. So I mean, that average holds up 5 yards a clip. You
Yeah,
know, that we can work with that. But just his first couple touches, because like you said, they came out and threw it the first, yeah, 3 and
3.
out.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get it then, and then I think he got it on the next series, and it was just like almost like his cleats wasn't on tight or something. Like he just couldn't get his foot and his legs or something together. So,
Yeah,
but and when I was watching it, I'm like, listen, these commentators, I know they homers because it's a local broadcast, and
for
I'm
sure.
like, they gotta stop hyping up a lot of people when they not doing nothing on the field. Like they telling
Yeah,
us how he went to Rutgers and yeah, he was like third in the conference in rushing. That's a valid stat. But don't tell us that he went to Rutgers and that's a Big Ten rushing conference. No, if he was a legit back like that, he would have been at Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, something like let's he was a 7th round pick. Let's keep it,
yeah, yeah. That's what
like,
I was. That's what I was going to say. He would have got drafted much higher. But don't get me wrong. I like the guy. I like his. I like his style of running. He ran hard when he did. When he did get it going, he had some really good runs. Uh, it's hard to keep up if he was going up against first string, second string, or whatever. I mean, because like I said, that was the toughest thing about watching this game is if you didn't have your mind set on looking for certain people,
yeah.
you would probably miss. Like, for instance, your boy Colston Loveland got in the game. I think he had a catch early in the game. Um, my man AJ Henning play for the Dolphins, number 88. AJ Henning, the old Michigan Wolverine,
He
and
ain't get
ended
in the
up going
ring
to
though.
Northwestern.
Yeah, he ain't get in the
Well,
ring.
he didn't. He left too early, ended up going to Northwestern and finishing up in Northwestern. But my point is, if you didn't pinpoint who you was looking for, you would probably miss them. You know what I mean? There was a lot of uh, substitutions in this game. I mean, just to point. I'm gonna touch on probably the most important, the most valuable player in this game for the Bears was Austin Booker, the defensive end, edge rusher. We know how important it is for the Bears to get that position solidified on the other side of Montez Sweat, and as he made a great case for himself. And I think he got the rest of the defensive line going to a degree. I mean, he had 3 sacks. I forgot Dominique Robinson was even on the squad. He had a sack, and I think Pickens had a sack, if I'm not mistaken. So, and I think that a lot of it was sparked by Austin Booker and also Noah Sewell
I was
stepping
gonna ask
up
you
at that
about him.
linebacker. I mean, he was doing his thing too. So Dennis Allen, it was a lot of red zone a lot of red zone action in this game. A lot of
Yeah, they
smash.
gave up a lot of bend but don't break, but then they kind of held
Yeah,
down in the red zone, especially in the first half.
yeah.
Another linebacker, I think, wasn't it Hippolyte? I think that's his name.
Hippolyte. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So between him and Sue, I liked what I saw from them out the back position. I didn't see. You said Dominic Robinson. I got the highlights
Dominic
on.
Robinson had a sack in that game,
Yeah,
but
I
like I
bet
said,
he did.
I think that Austin Booker just he got that defense going on that defensive line. I think they just sparked everyone else, and then once they had a problem probably blocking him, then the other guys were able to get off. Because like I said, Pickens had a big sack. Uh, Booker had three himself, and I know Robinson had one. And then once he started going, you start seeing the linebackers get some work done, and the defensive backfield was sticky.
I saw Tariq Stevenson's out there. I saw him out
Yeah,
there time. I actually, I mean, I know it's a small sample size, and we're comparing that to how Flus's defense looked and whatnot. Again, that team was broken at the end, but I just kind of like the philosophy that Dennis Allen was bringing. Even though they gave up a lot, but then they buckled down. I just kind
yeah,
of liked how they just seemed a little bit more quicker to the ball, a little bit more aggressive. Again, that could be new season. If we starting from zero, new coaching
yeah,
staff. There could be a lot of
yeah.
that, but yeah, it was
Yeah,
just
the
kind of
attrition sets in. You never know how that's gonna go. Plus, guys playing for the money. They're trying to make the team. They
yeah.
inspired. You know what I mean? So, um, with the starters not being in the game, I believe the fans, even though the game ended in a 24-24 tied up at 24, the fans saw a uh, high intensity football game. I mean, for they buck. Um, the biggest thing going into this next one is actually seeing the ones against the Buffalo Bills. Um, like I said, tonight, I don't want to be too long tonight. I think I mentioned the position battle between Braxton Jones and Ozzie Trapello at left tackle. That was probably one of the most important evaluations that you could have made from this game on
And we
Sunday
totally taking
and going forward.
what's my man name that came from what is it, Princeton? Yeah, Amagazi. We totally eliminate him from the conversation or the competition,
I
right?
wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that just yet because we still got two more
But he ain't
exhibition
really
games to
been
go.
healthy to like get on the field or really
Yeah,
touch
he
though.
he he hasn't been healthy. You're right. He hasn't been healthy. But that brings up going down the line. Another interesting thing is like with all of this new turnover with coaches and Ryan Poles being the general manager, bringing in a new coach and bringing in a new defensive coordinator, a new head coach in Ben Johnson is when it comes down to cutting, when you got to cut this roster down, how Ryan Poles, the guys that he drafted,
Mm-hmm.
how they're going to fare. I'm talking about previous drafts, not this
Right,
past draft.
right, yeah.
How they're going to fare when it comes down to the cut day. And one of them guys is like Dominique Robinson. You know what I mean? Dominique Robinson is an experiment. Uh, I believe coming out of college, he played quarterback at one point. He played wide receiver. He's just been an athlete. Now, when you look at him, he has bulked up and his body looks like a defensive end. But like I said again, when it comes time to cut, it's gonna be interesting to see
Booker, one of
who.
his guys.
Say that again.
Booker, who you was just talking about, that had a
Yeah, that's
good
what I'm
camp. Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Well, Austin Booker was just brought in last year.
And they traded up to get him. Remember, they traded back
Yeah,
after
yeah,
they
yeah,
took what's the punter's name? Tory Taylor.
yeah. And then they traded back into the draft to get
Yeah.
Booker. And many say that if had Booker stayed at Kansas one more season, he probably would have been a first, second round pick. He's a young guy. I think he's only like 21 or 22 years old.
Okay.
So I don't see them cutting Booker. But like Dominic Robinson, he's been here about as long as Ryan Poles has been in. So I think he may be a question mark. it's gonna be interesting when it comes down to cut down day. But you know, like I say again, the fans came out, saw a hard felt battle between the Bears and Dolphins. Unfortunately, went down to a tie. But I believe from a coaching standpoint, they got a lot to evaluate. Their left tackle position being the most important position that we probably could have. If you're gonna go back and watch that game again, that might be one of the most important position. That might be the most important position that you can look at and evaluate. Like, going to be the left tackle, and that's crazy because many say that's the bet. That's the number one position when you got a right-handed quarterback. That's
Mm-hmm.
his blind side. So it's going to be interesting. The cuts, who they keep based on Ryan Poe's previous drafts, who's going to be the Velus Jones of this roster?
It's gonna be
It's pretty
somebody.
much what I'm getting down to.
Yeah.
Velus he was in New Orleans. I saw him. He's winning 13 in New Orleans. He returned. I
Did he
think it
pick
was
up hands?
nah, he was on special teams. I think he had a kickoff or a punt. I only seen like one play. And
Okay.
he made a good move on somebody. Matter of fact, I think he broke somebody's ankle. He went down injured, but Velus is in New Orleans these days. But there you
Velvet
go.
Jones. You know what,
Yeah.
Velvet Bayless? We're gonna wish you well in New Orleans. Hopefully make the team. You can go ahead and have a productive NFL career. I know we had a lot of fun at your expense, but you gave us the material. So
Yeah. He gave us plenty of material. We had our fun with Velus over the year or two. Cairo Santos. I don't want to go without mentioning him. He had a 57-yard field goal in this game, stepping his game up, trying to hang with the young guys. Now, there was a kid for the Jaguars, I believe, that had a 67-yard
yeah,
field goal.
it just didn't count because it
So,
was preseason. Because the record
yeah,
is
yeah.
53. Yeah. Let me ask you this.
The
Let me.
field goal game that you got to kick field goals in the NFL, you got to step your game up now for
Oh, you
real.
you got to be able to hit a 60-yarder, like
Yeah,
at least probably 6 out of 10 times, 7 out of 10 times. Like that's probably a requirement now. But
yeah.
is Cairo Santos on the verge of being as good and dependable as one Robbie Gold? I know that's a
As
little off
long
track, but you just brought him up, and it made me think of that question.
as long as he continue to make this roster under several regimes, because is he a carryover from Matt Nagy?
Well, this is second stint with the Bears.
With that being said, without the numbers being in front of me, I would have to say yes.
Okay, I know he's the 2020 MVP on Watch the Game Sport.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, yeah. But yeah, I have to say yes. He's definitely putting himself in that category with Robbie Gold. Being that having this long little stint in Chicago. Yeah, he's definitely he set his self apart from the double doink man. What was his name? I forget his name.
Cody Parkey.
Calder. Yeah. He most definitely not in that class. You know what I mean? So Cairo Santos 57-yard field goal was impressive. Um Bills, Bears, Sunday evening. They do have a joint practice on Friday. It'll be interesting to see how much of the one play with Caleb Williams, the offensive line, all the way down to the receivers, because they had a lot of guys out in this game. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go about playing those ones against the Bills. Probably the most popular story on the field. There's probably a couple of them. Michael Parkins off the field contract situation with the Cowboys, asking for a trade. I don't know if you got anything you want to say about that, but I just had
So
to mention it.
he's gonna be. He didn't get traded, right? Now I ain't seen nothing today, but he's
Yeah,
still on the Dallas Cowboys. Last time I checked,
yeah,
right? That's
yeah.
where he will be,
So
and he will
we
be.
speculate he'll be with the Dallas Cowboys when the season starts. They're gonna find. Matter of fact, they got that. They got a documentary on Netflix. So
Oh yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
know,
I seen that. Yeah, I
they
want to
they
check that
leading
out.
us right into this documentary talking about the Dallas Cowboys on Netflix about that '90s, the big time, the '90s Cowboys back in
Yeah.
the, they won 3 Super Bowls in the '90s.
Three out of
But
4 years.
Jerry Jones grabbing the attention at the best way he can, and maybe Michael Parsons is in on it.
Hey, I don't put nothing past Jerry. I
Yeah,
know I remember seeing that documentary was coming out. You just reminded me, so I want to check that one out, and that SEC football documentary that they got on Netflix too. So yeah,
I didn't
I'm
know
glad
nothing
you did.
about that one.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
SEC one, I don't know nothing. I hadn't heard about that one. But on the field, um, one of the most interesting stories, biggest headlines, and I want to have a side story to that because we discussed it a little bit. So, Shedeur Sanders, uh, after questionable drafting status, going in the 5th round to Cleveland, having some problems off the field. Well, I guess speeding tickets. You know what I
speaking.
mean? So, and then here's the first exhibition game of the season, and they go to Carolina, and he gets to start. And what was his numbers?
I
Played pretty
think
well. He
12
played
out
pretty
of
well.
was it 14 out of 23? I know he threw for 2 touchdowns. I want to say like 140 some yards. Let me see. Shedeur Sanders stats. Let's see if I get it. 14 out of 23, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, 19 rush yards on 4 carries.
Yeah, big time performance. Considering the situation and circumstances, they say he didn't get a lot of reps with the number ones. I didn't watch the game in particular. I, just saw some highlights. It's kind of hard to keep up with who the number ones are, especially with the Cleveland Browns. I mean, it ain't like they got a star-studded cast of guys in either
Right.
anywhere. You know what I mean? So, um, but the thing is, the reason why I brought that up, that's one of the biggest stories. Is remember we talked. Now Cam Ward was actually the number one pick in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
The very first pick in the draft. Shedeur Sanders, I believe, all three of the Cleveland Brown football games in the exhibition is on NFL Network. Now, here was Friday night. The Browns Carolina game is on NFL Network. Saturday afternoon, I believe it was Tennessee and Tampa Bay. They weren't on NFL Network until you caught the replay. I don't think they were alive. That's interesting. The number one pick didn't get the coverage. The 144th pick, I think, what Shedeur was, right?
Yeah.
144.
Yep.
He got he'll probably play all three of them games. He's getting the coverage. Now, in my opinion, well, not in my opinion, but I'm gonna ask you, do you think first of all, I think he makes the roster. That's people that actually think he's not gonna make the rock. They're not gonna make the roster.
That's a
Look here,
no-brainer.
man.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Okay, keep going.
He's gonna make the roster. It's just if he's gonna be a practice squad guy, if he's gonna be second or third string. Hell, they got 5 quarterbacks because they brought in Huntley
Right.
with
That was
all the
all.
injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah, Huntley played as well, but Shadeur's gonna make that team. Dylan Gabriel probably is gonna make that team. But problem is, which one of them is gonna be in street clothes come week one? So that's probably the most interesting. The next 2 weeks of exhibition football is the most interesting games are going to be the ones in which the Cleveland Browns are participating in, just for that battle alone.
So we figuring Flacco gets the start, right? So we figure
Yeah, early. Yep. So, like I said, that's gonna be the next 2 weeks of exhibition. Those are probably gonna be the most interesting games to watch. Cleveland Browns. I don't know who they play. We could check into it, but I don't know who they got for the next 2 weeks of exhibition.
the NFL ain't stupid neither now. Like I know
Well, I just told you them games on NFL Network,
that's what I'm saying.
live on NFL Network. They know
Exactly.
what they're doing.
Yeah, they did what I mean collusion, if that's the word you want to use. Something happened for him to fall to the 5th round. Now we can make an argument whether he's a first or second round quarterback. I give you that, but no lower. When Tyler Shuck, you can't tell me he was supposed to go above Shedeur Sanders. So the NFL got a marketing department. They got a department that's reading the tea leaves and doing data research, and they know Shedeur Sanders' names is getting this many clicks per day versus Cam Ward. You know what? Let's go ahead and throw Shedeur on these first three games. We're gonna make that happen. I mean, the Titans, they the Titans. Yes, they're important. He's the number 1 pick. We gonna show it. It's just gonna be on replay. Like the NFL know what they doing. So that ain't by chance that Cleveland is on.
You brought up Tyler Shuck. Let me give you his numbers. 15 of 22, 165 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The Saints lose to the Chargers 27-13. He was slinging it a little bit. When he was out there, he took some shots.
He's QB1, right? Because Derek Carr.
Yeah. He'll be QB1 unless Spencer Rattler has something to say about it. Now, this is the interesting thing too. Now that we talking about that, it kind of take me out of my original thought process as far as our topics for tonight. This is the most interesting thing, and I meant to bring this up last week. While we're in Chicago, there was some debate whether or not Caleb Williams. It's just people just throwing shit at the wall. Pardon my French. But Caleb Williams not actually being a starter in Chicago. Okay, so this is my thing. Do you remember how the Caleb Williams saga began? It was with Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler was the number 1 quarterback in Oklahoma. Remember?
Right, yeah.
So Caleb Williams was determined to get on the field. I don't know if it was because Spencer Rattler wasn't playing well or if he got injured. But Caleb Williams came in that game and took over, and it's been Caleb Williams ever since.
Yep.
Okay. Now, Caleb Williams got that position through competition. He sat back, he got his opportunity, and made the best of it, all the way to the Heisman Trophy. Now, who's to say he's not worthy of sitting out watching again? Maybe he needs to sit and watch. I don't know. I'm just saying. And I know most people, they want you to play. Most franchises, they doing it like this. They want them to play right away.
Right, because that's the blueprint to win the Super Bowl.
Well, not necessarily. The blueprint to win the Super Bowl is to win on the rookie contract.
Right, that's what.
But you don't have to rush the process of the quarterback. Patrick Mahomes said a year. Aaron Rodgers said 4 years.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts said a year.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts said a year. And someone else said that slips my mind right now. But the bottom line is you don't have to rush the process. And all of these teams that pretty much rushed these guys in, it didn't work out. It didn't work out. So is Ben Johnson how he's going to go about this developing Caleb Williams, he may have to sit if he's not processing. But the thing about that is, who is he sitting behind?
Tyson.
Because Tyson Bagent is only 1 year ahead of him.
Yeah.
And basically, they might be about the same age. What I'm getting to is the pressure's on. Because the same thing that got Caleb to this plateau, beating out Spencer Rattler in Oklahoma, could be his demise in Chicago. He has to come on with it, bro.
Yeah, they ain't gonna.
That's intriguing to me.
They not gonna give him. We said last week on the show, Ben Johnson he got the most juice in the room.
For sure.
Besides maybe Kevin Warren, Ben Johnson
That's
got
it. That's it. That's it.
most juice in the room. It's his
Yeah.
football team. And
It's his football team. So all them people saying that he's here to coach Caleb, I don't believe that's the case.
similar, might I liken it to when Matt Nagy inherited Mitch Trubisky and he put Nick Foles in.
And he couldn't wait to get Nick Foles in.
He could not wait because remember
when
we was watching that
Trubisky
game
made
together.
one mistake against Atlanta, he
Yep.
put Nick Foles in, and it worked out because Nick Foles came in and won a football game in Atlanta. I'll never forget it. But you're right. Matt Nagy couldn't wait to get Nick Foles in to run his offense. And even Nick Foles I don't even think Nick Foles particularly care for the way Matt Nagy. I'm not gonna say he didn't care for Matt Nagy, but I'm willing to bet. I'm thinking that he didn't think much of how Matt Nagy's development of Mitchell Trubisky was. He didn't care for that because he knew Mitchell Trubisky. He probably knew Mitchell Trubisky was in a position to have to be underdeveloped, and I think at that time Foles knew that he was a bridge guy.
Yeah.
And I think he knew that Mr. Trubisky was being underdeveloped. It was sometimes when he told Matt Nagy, why would you call that play? They can't even block this play. They can't even block long enough for us to run this play. Mm-hmm. I mean, we going down a rabbit hole with this, but interesting how that's gonna play out. And when we just talked about Spencer Rattler, that's when I had to think about this whole how Caleb Williams even got to this point. And it was Spencer Rattler that he beat out. Spencer Rattler later on transferred to South Carolina. Now he's a Saint. Before we wrap up, I want to know how you feel about two divisions in the AFC. The AFC East. First and foremost, let me tell you how I got it playing out.
All right.
I'm picking the Bills in this order. The Bills, the Jets, the Patriots, and then the Dolphins will be last because I just think that the Dolphins, they're in a cold weather division.
Yeah.
And they just don't play well in the elements on the road. You know what I'm saying? They're just in a tough spot for the style of play that they have. And then Tua just every year this concussion thing has a way of just creeping up on them. So I got the Dolphins finishing last. Possibly even moving on for Tua in the next year or two.
Okay. All right. I would go. You got Dolphins last. I probably would start there. I would go Jets 3, and I'm going bottom up. Dolphins, Jets. I think the Patriots will come in at second. I think Mike Vrabel is a good football coach, so I think he's going to make that team overachieve. They may not be the most talented, even though they got Stephon Diggs. They got Drake May in his second year, and Drake May, I think he surprised a lot of people from what he was able to do in his rookie season compared to kind of what he had put on tape at North Carolina. He was kind of very inconsistent. So I think that team could wind up in second, just because I feel like the Jets kind of just like, even though they got Justin, I know we Justin supporters here. I just feel like that organization is just like the Bears. They have no clue what they're doing, and they got a
Yeah,
first year coach. Not no shot to Aaron Glenn or whatever, but I don't think that was they necessarily first choice. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
and then I got the Bills winning the division. So,
yeah.
Bills, Patriots, Jets, Dolphins.
All right. And then we go on to the AFC North. Many people say that the NFC North is the toughest division in football. I don't buy into that all the way. And I'll tell you why when we get to the NFC North later
Because
on, weeks from now.
it's us.
Well, I got some things about this division that I'm gonna hold off on saying anything about it right now. We're gonna see how the rest of the exhibition games play out. But the AFC North, I got the Ravens,
Yep.
then I got the Steelers, and I got the Bengals, then I got the Browns. Now, the Bengals are a better offensive team than the Steelers.
Yes.
So the only suspect thing about the Bengals is their defense.
Yep.
And that's the question mark for the Bengals. And that's why I got them finishing third in the division. You know,
So no
Mr.
playoff or just
They
third,
may be, that's what I'm saying. They may be a borderline not making the playoffs again.
like
And
last
it's
year.
strictly because of their defense. And the reason why is because I believe the Steelers are not as talented on offense, but they're going to play really good defense. And if Aaron Rodgers he's not a scrub. There's
Right.
many Bear fans that hate him. He's not a scrub. He's not what he was, but he is an improvement from what they had the last 2 years. Well, the last year. And I'm a big fan of Justin, but they just didn't. They didn't ask Justin to do much, so they never really. I don't think Justin was ever really put in position to succeed once they brought Wilson in. And I think Justin was just turned off by it all, and he decided I'm gonna just go somewhere where they want me, and that's why he ended up in New York with the Jets. Ironically, Aaron left the Jets. Now he's with the Steelers. Now Justin and Russell Wilson are in the New York media. They're in the New York market.
They
So
got their own team.
interesting.
Yeah.
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 So they got two teams that believe in their abilities to lead, and it just so both teams happen to be in New York. Now, like I say again, I think the Steelers are going to be good enough on offense, and I think Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf gives them a shot in the arm. I don't know where the second option is going to come with the other wide receiver. I don't know how good of a running game, but I know they will have a commitment to running the football in Pittsburgh, and they're going to play good defense. The Bengals, it's the exact opposite. Are they going to be committed to running the football, and can they play good defense? And if you don't ask Burrow to do as much, maybe he can stay healthy. And if you can play defense and run the football, you got a better shot. So it's a possibility those two teams can switch. I got them 2-3, two Steelers, three Bengals, but that can switch. And then the Browns, they kind of self-explanatory. They playing musical chairs with the quarterback position.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really noted for having a really great defense. So it's pretty obvious they're the worst team in that division. They'll probably be at the top of the draft again next season. Whether or not they're looking for a quarterback or not, we don't know.
So you have Browns, Bengals,
I,
Steelers, Ravens, right?
I got the Ravens,
Right.
Steelers,
Yeah.
Bengals, Browns.
Okay.
That's
All
what
right.
I got in that order.
Okay. Yeah. I would say I'm pretty much the same. Browns last, the Bengals. I got them in third simply because we know they start slow all the time. That's just their trend. I don't think they necessarily gonna start slow this year because I think they're gonna be really hyper focused on getting off to a good start. but I can't imagine Joe Burrow having a year like he had last year. I think he didn't he throw for over
Well,
5,000
Joe
yards.
Burrow, yeah, he was. Yeah, you're talking about the production.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
like
hard to.
to
Yeah. It's
duplicate
hard
that. Like
to.
the
It's gonna
offense
be
ain't gonna,
hard to duplicate that. Yeah.
yeah, they ain't gonna fall off the cliff, but the defense, they still got a lot of question marks on defense. What's the DN, the edge that's unhappy? He ain't got his money yet, so that may come into play. I know Jamar and T Higgins, all them, they got paid, but again, it's gonna be some drop off there, and I can see this drop off ultimately resulting in Zach Taylor getting shown the door up out of there. Um,
Yeah.
and just to be different, I'm gonna go Ravens 2, even though Madden got them listed as the highest overall rating on the game. I know.
Okay.
Yes, they're 93 if there's any gamers watching this. Um, I'm gonna say the Steelers win the division. Now I don't know if that means the Steelers don't have a run or anything like that, but for the reasons that you just outlined, Aaron Rodgers is gonna be better than what they had last year. I think DK gives them a shot in the arm under Mike Tomlin. He's never had a losing record, as we know. They got George Pickens up out of there, which was a malcontent causing them a lot of problems. Didn't they draft my boy Caleb Johnson from Iowa at running back?
Yes.
I think that'll be an upgrade from what Najee Harris was
They
giving them.
also got one of your former Wolverines at wide receiver. I forget the kid's
Roman
name.
Williams, Roman
Yeah.
Wilson. Yeah, they got
hmm
him on the roster too.
And
So
you know how good Aaron Rodgers was, how he used to be at getting the most out of like the least talented receivers. He has a way of bringing the best out of them, and I can see. I was just talking about the number two receiver, not knowing exactly who they could be for the Steelers. I wouldn't be surprised if it could be. I mean, what's the kid? I think his name is Tavon Austin
hold on, I'll put it up.
for the number 19 for the Steelers. I may have his name wrong, but I can see him improving, and I can see Roman Wilson
Clark
coming
Calvin
along.
Austin. That's what you're talking about.
Calvin Austin, number 19, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I can see those two guys flourishing with Rodgers, especially with DK Metcalf being that big power receiver. I can see them two guys developing, and the key to it all is, like you said, Wilson. You say his name is the
Roman
the
Wilson.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the running back,
Oh, Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams,
I think that's his
out of
name.
Iowa.
Yeah.
So if that kid can run the football and that offensive line can protect and he can get the best out of them two young receivers that we just talked about,
Caleb Johnson.
yeah,
Yeah.
Caleb Johnson,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The Steelers can be nice, but
Yeah.
it's gonna come down to Rodgers staying healthy, Rodgers being the ultimate teammate and the ultimate leader. The Steelers defense being what they could be,
TJ Watt. Yeah.
and being able to run the damn football. Like, it's just perfect, just a
And
perfect recipe
I,
for success
they
in
picked
Pittsburgh.
they picked up. I mean, it ain't a big pickup to me because I think he's in the same class as Jalen Johnson. I don't know how he keeps getting paid, but Jalen Ramsey, they got him
Oh
on
yeah,
the in the defensive secondary. So I
yeah.
mean,
They beefed up they beefed up pretty good in their defensive secondary, and they were already pretty good with
yeah,
Porter. Yeah, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be exciting. Like I said again, the NFL make they headlines on the field, not off the field like the NBA. I mean, not off the court like the NBA. So, hey man, Buffalo coming in Chicago, Soldier Field Sunday night for the second exhibition game for the Chicago Bears. Joint practice on Friday, and we'll see how that affects the decision making process of Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears to play the first string offense. Mitchell Trubisky coming to town.
Mitch.
So, what was his nickname? Used to call him something. Money Making Mitch. That was they're calling Money Making Mitch. So Money Making Mitch is in town, and he's in town to show the Bears that they gave up on him too soon. Watch the game. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you after the Buffalo Bills coming to town and play the Chicago Bears. Exhibition game number 2. We'll have more predictions on the rest of the divisions in the NFL going forward, leading us into the season. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we